Hello, today we're gonna try to make a cool Crested Gecko Vivarium. So, right now I am setting up all the pieces of cork and whatnot so that I could make a cool background in this 18 by 18 by 24 Exoterra. So, I'm putting a few containers for planters so that they can hold some plants that hopefully will drift down viney wise. Some ghost wood to look kind of like roots. We'll see if this will end up being the look I want, but yeah, a lot of cork so that we have some plants that can trail up hopefully, and I might put something up here since it's a little blank, but this is what we have so far. Okay, I've decided this is what's gonna be the final setup of the background. I did not silicone anything, so we're gonna try to just put the foam in there and see if it holds like this. If not, I don't know. We'll see. Wish me luck. So I will be using some gloves and some multi-purpose black great stuff. So here we go. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Well, right now it looks kind of crappy, but I think it came out pretty well. All this stuff is to hold it in place, put some weights so that the foam doesn't push out the cork and stuff like that. But yeah, now we let it dry for a few days and then we do the next step.
Alright, now once all the foam has finally hardened up, I'm going to start to carve into it like that, so that there's attachment points for the silicone and also so that we have some more natural looking rocky structures.
And I just apply a good amount all around the curved edges of the foam, just like that. And so you want it working kind of like sectors, small sectors, enough that you can cover a good amount, but enough that you can work on it before they dry up, before it dries up. And then you want to take, like I'm using right here, a brush. You can use your finger, just make sure you're wearing gloves if you are. You can use smaller brushes, bigger brushes, it's up to you really. But all you're really doing is applying and then pressing it, making sure it spreads all around the area as much as you can. I also like to use my finger to make sure it's basically covering everywhere. You want to cover it as much as possible so that you can get all the spots that you can without having to go back to the area once you apply the dirt. And so let me just make sure I cover a whole section here. I want to be a little diligent about it. You will thank yourself later. But basically, yeah, once you have a good amount of the area covered, kind of like this, you will then proceed to throw some dirt on it. As I explained earlier, you want to use a good dry substrate that you can stick on, depending on the type of animal you're going to keep in here, if any animal or plants. So as you can see, I'm using some eco-earth mixed with fern panel. Oh my god, I can't talk. yeah, just kind of make sure you press into it so that it really sticks to the background. And you're gonna do that to cover the whole area. Here's here and there, right there, that you want to touch up again, depending on how well you got it the first time. So what I will proceed to do now is give this a rinse. I figured over the last few projects I've done that when you give it a good rinse of water, it what's the word? It cures way faster. The silicone won't smell as much, and also it will set in really nicely way faster. So I will proceed to do that now. Welcome back. So I got my tank up here in the yard. Way better lighting here. Sorry the video is kind of shitty. I'm using my iPad for this as I kind of lost my my camera that I usually use to film. But as you can see, it looks way better here. You can kind of see how well this thing glued on. As you can see, there's some parts that we might want to work on. Over here, got out this part earlier, right there. But other than that, it seems pretty solid. You gotta remember too that most of this dirt will be covered with plants eventually, hopefully. Gonna use some vines to hopefully cover the background. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good to me. So now what I will do is I'm going to spray it with some water and let the hose kind of spray this part, make sure all the loose dirt kind of falls down, allowing me to really see the areas that need to be touched up again. And also, this might not be a problem for other people, but I got this tank from a friend, and he had cracked it before, but he fixed it. But I want to just make sure and test that it's still able to retain water, because as you spray the tank, you're going to accumulate some water down there, and it's gonna be a hassle if that thing starts to leak somewhere. So it's good to check before you bring it inside and test stuff like this. So I recommend you do this outside. So I'll go ahead and do that. This is dry, by the way. Now that we're back, basically all we have to do is wait for this to dry, because the silicone won't attach to the wet. So at least let the areas where you want to touch up again to dry up completely. So this is a little annoying. You have to wait again for it to dry before you can continue. But I found that this is the best way you can really get to touch up areas that really needed to be touched up this way, and it won't look ugly later. Believe me, it's worth the wait. So while that happens, I'm going to drill some holes in the areas that I saw needed some more drainage. But after that, I'm going to let it dry, and you can speed this up if you put a fan in front of it, or maybe a heat lamp, something like that. But other than that, we just gotta wait, touch it up, and then we can start building up the rest of the vivarium. And so that's actually where I'm going to end this video. I figured it'd be... That's my green tree frog. But yeah, I figured it'd be easier if I do a part 1 of the video where it's all of this that you just saw, and a part 2 where I will be building the drainage layer, putting the substrate, mixing the substrate, and show you how I make the substrate, and also putting the plants in. I might also put the Crested Gecko in there once he's ready, not sure. But yeah, I'm gonna let this dry up. I want it to really dry up so I can put the silicone in the dirt without having any problems. I also want to touch up the corners of the tank so that I am completely sure that nothing is going to leak. That's something I'm really worried about, because as you saw, it's a little cracked.
And even though the water was really retained in there, I just want to be sure. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please go ahead and like it. And if you have any suggestions or comments, concerns, whatever, go ahead and comment down below. I always look at comments. I always try to improve my videos and stuff. And go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. I don't post that regularly, but I want to get back into it and like try to post more of my animals. I've gotten a lot of comments asking for a care guide on my water snake and more on his setup, so I might do that soon. But yeah, if you would like to see more of my animals as well, you can follow me on my Instagram at Trilomania. I post about them all the time, and there's a lot of animals that I haven't posted on my YouTube yet that are there. So thank you so much for watching, and if you like the video, go ahead and look at part 2 once it's released. Thanks.